soul. I'm getting comments like I had a brother on there, in the comments in the YouTube, and he was like, "Look, man, I've been following you for a while now, and I like what you say in your lyrics and your songs because it's more spiritual, right, and more motivational, make you think." And he was like, "I thought you were kind of where I was, and then I realized you were really talking about Christ." And he was like, "Now that I've come to Christ, I understand it better now, what you're saying." And he said, "You were part of that."
Yeah.
And see, look, that's better than a Grammy. That's better than whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's really what art is about.
Got you. And that was the thing that, that kind of made me upset about the whole getting after Kendrick Lamar on his spiritual stances, whatever, because I picked up that album and thought of a therapy session. Not God could use anyone to bring somebody towards closer to Christ. Believe it or not, I got closer to Christ because of that man on your shirt, Tupac, and also DMX.
Correct.
When Tupac died, it was around the time I was kind of questioning in my life. I had a kind of a religious family, and I really didn't have a relationship with God besides the one that my grandmother would teach me, and I loved her old stories. But getting back, so Tupac, right? It was the 7 Day Theory album after his murder,
right?
And that the introduction of To Live and Die in LA. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
It says, it says, God has a plan, and da-da-da-da-da, right? And that voice, and it was like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh man, it was just so haunting at the time, right? No, and you know what it was? It was Blasphemy. It was that song, Blasphemy. Oh my gosh. And then I started getting to DMX. And he had those prayers, and I remember I was in the projects, and we was just always talk about the latest music, and people were like, "Yo, you heard that song by DMX called Slippin'?" And it was like, "Yo, man, I hope my brother. I wanted to go talk to my dad. Yo, you listen to that song, man? Yo, actually talking about something." And bro, it was like you felt something. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And then he came with the prayers. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So the thing is that from let's piggyback on what you're saying and what I'm saying as an artist, we're both artists, is that hindering art and saying this and that, right? It's not bringing anyone closer to Christ. I've made a statement in that one video that said, Christian rap is corny, right? Or I said Christian music is corny. I need to take that back because number one, I had to start really looking into people who are controversial, like yourself, or that want to push the envelope of talking about spiritual things to people so they could, be closer to God. And you mentioned earlier about you being bullied, and then you went into talking about Christ, right? This is one thing I did about my research when it came to hip hop and when it comes to Christ, right? They made a big deal about Kendrick putting the crown of thorns on his head, right? But I remember through hip hop history, Kanye did it, Nas did it, Nas carried a cross. A lot of other people, DMX, full body, blood, flesh of my flesh. You know what I'm saying? Going Jesus, right? And the black community related to his suffering.
Right.
The black community said, "Man, this was a guy who died for us, right?" And so when we're in the hood, what we do when we talk about our brothers? Well, I'm gonna die for my brother,
Right. Absolutely.
right? You know what I'm saying? Tupac had a huge tattoo of a cross on his back,
Right.
right? Oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's like there was always a romance with the crucified Christ and hip hop. It was that martyrdom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know what I mean? He suffered for us. That's some G stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So when artists take inspiration from that, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I don't know. It's art. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But sometimes we can't be like what they did to you and they do to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's saying, oh, you know, what he or she is doing is wrong because this is not how we view art as.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I did want to circle back to the mission of, because it does correlate what I was talking about at the beginning. Was I was literally that shy kid. I could rap. I could actually rap, but I had wanted to be a writer and a poet and stuff like, a writer. But I started falling in love with rap music. And then I was around on the whole gang banging rap style. And you can hear that and see it in the way I carry myself and all that. It's imprinted on me, that subculture. But saying all that, I was having like a reflection. Like I didn't know that other people don't talk to God in their heads all the time. I do. And I didn't know that's uncommon and that sometimes I hear back from them. And I didn't know that that's unusual.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I was. Even when I was what the church would call a backslider, I was struggling in my faith. But I knew that there was the Spirit. I knew that there was something more, that there was something greater that is God, that we call God.
Can we say something real quick for people who are probably not in the faith or whatever?
Right.
Can we tell them that, look, the Christian life is not about being perfect.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
we didn't like.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. Yeah, it's a great journey. But we're not sinless. We just sin less.
Oh, right.
You know what I'm saying? We sin less.
Absolutely. So I was having this moment with God, and I wasn't even thinking about that it was God. It was the Spirit, it was the Holy Spirit. And I was like, man, I'm around this gangbang culture, and I like this style, I like the camaraderie, I like the brotherhood, I like the vibe, I like the manliness, the warrior code, some of the code about it, but it's literally self-genocide. And I was like, I can't rock with that. So I dressed kind of like a gangbanger, but I wore neutral colors. I would not wear the red or the blue.
To me, you just look like a Raider fan.
Yeah, right now, yeah. But I'm saying back in the day when I was young.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So it was different than that.
Yeah, it was different. But then as I was coming up, so anyway, I said, man, somebody needs to rap. And through rap music, they need to tell the truth to the people. This is before Christian rap was super corny considered super corny back then.
Yeah.
And I was like, somebody needs to speak the truth to the people. And I heard very clearly in my mind, not audible, but you can do it.
Mm.
Why don't you do it?
Right.
You're thinking about this because you're supposed to do it. And I was like, nah, pick somebody else.
Yeah.
And then
I've been hearing that same thing.
that's something, though, I want to put that out there. That's a whole nother, there's a lot of topics you're bringing up in this conversation.
Actually,
but we got to the spirit world, God.